Hello, everybody in the chess world. Today we're going to see the Tango opening. This is basically after d4, knight f6, c4, and knight on c6. This weird second knight developing here, really unusual. Okay, this opening is the Tango. It's also called Kevich Strajkovic, and just the two knight defense. Just to make it quite literal. So well, I did what I usually do before making the video and all the little survey for this opening. I searched for if there were any other YouTube videos on this opening, and yeah, what I expected happened. Most of them are well from Black's point of view, since it's a pretty unusual opening. They show this, they show all the good things about it, and well, maybe you'll want to play it with Black, but what I actually wanted to show is what I didn't see, which is a nice method, a little bit to get an advantage with white, and mostly to prevent the usual problems that we might see. Because once again, it's quite logical for anyone who might like this a little bit to play it. I mean, the surprise factor is always there. I mean, yeah, some people know about this, that they won't be studying this. They have once every 100 games, maybe it is opening by Black. However, for example, well, it was shown that the main lines, for example, go with knight on c3, and now e5. We see the idea of this knight on c6. So a typical line is d5 and knight on e7, and after e4, just knight on g6. So basically, well, if you allow Black, they'll go bishop on c5 and have a pretty aggressive scheme. And so that is why normally, well, white plays bishop on e3 to prevent bishop on c5, but I don't know, bishop on b4 comes and his pawn is hit after f3. Well, Black, if they want, they could exchange. And, it's nothing too magical for Black, but it makes a lot of sense. So there are a lot of ideas. And again, white usually doesn't know anything about this. It's hard to study this opening. So really understandable to play knight on f3 instead of knight on c3, which is, yes, it is the first move that I will recommend in here. First of all, stop the e5 plan. But here Black plays e6. And well, once again, this is one of the ideas for Black. So if you like this with Black, you'll probably know that there are a lot of cousins, lines that are cousins with the Nimzo Indian. So for example, after the most natural knight on c3, you'll see bishop on b4 as the main line, and having a just transposing into a Nimzo Indian. So I don't know, we see 2 d6, bishop g5h. These are typical lines, on this Nimzo. This has been played a lot of times, and Black gets a pretty decent position. I don't know. White is fine as well. There's no mistakes in here, but this is the thing, Black players will always know that if white successfully stops the e5 plan, they could at least go for a Nimzo. But yeah, curiously enough, that is why I'm going to recommend a3, which I think it is the main move. I think that if you see the database, yeah, most there are strong players know about this. So it's funny because initially, we see a3. It's not a development move, right? So we think, well, Black will be happy now. They'll think, okay, in the opening already in the fourth move, white just, I got him. I got white to play that move that is not development, that is only meant to stop my bishop on b4 in here, which is true. And it seems like a success for Black in the opening, but it's actually the opposite. Now that we've stopped bishop on b4 in those typical plans, wow, what is this knight really doing here on c6? I've seen some other openings. The knight is basically blocking the c pawn from going to c6 or c5. So a3 is a pretty good move, and it's, I don't know, always especially annoying for the Tango players with Black. It's one that kind of ruins all the normal typical plans for Black. And well, in here, I'm going to show you the lines here to go on. So main line is d6. Before showing that, I want to check on d5. This is totally possible and basically a good move. I think that once again, I mean, we play knight c3 and we can go for natural development, right? And again, well, we're gonna always getting an advantage. For example, I mean, I've seen g6 in here, which initially might seem weird because, well, all the pawns on the light squares, that may be a little weird. And the point is that if you play the natural bishop on e7, well, why not playing bishop on f4, transpose into queen's gambit decline, but once again with black that have blocked c pawn with what is this knight doing on c6. So I don't know, castles e3, just this is much better. So I want to understand that after d5 and knight c3, maybe black will go for the fianchetto. This we'll see the same on the d6 line. These options of, well, putting the bishop on e7 or put it over the fianchetto. But once again, we play natural moves with white and always getting a good position. I don't know what is that knight doing on c6 in almost any line. So let's say h6, we go away. Let us say knight on e7. So that they'll try to reroute the knight, going to f5, a decent square for the knight, and finally making this c5 pawn a mobile pawn. But I don't know, let us go queen b3. If they take it to, well, we can take with the queen. So now the idea is that, for example, after knight on f5, we can take, and now we prevented the black's queen from taking it because we're over c7. And after bishop takes, hey, now we can take advantage of the fact that we haven't castled. So, h4, going for the attack. We might even, I don't know, we might even play short castles after all, but it's really looking like long castles and trying to deliver checkmate. It's a really cool plan for us in here. So it looks like we're much better. So going back to this a3, d6 is the main line. It might be the best move, but we have the same procedure. This is why I wanted to show you how safe this scheme is of knight on f3 and a3. We're playing to just always to make this knight on c6 look kind of ridiculous, just because of the fact that black cannot play with the c pawn. And for example, here we have the same thing that as in the other line. Black will choose between bishop on e7 or g6 and fianchetto that bishop. And well, once again, bishop on e7. Let us play natural moves, but maybe just e4 this time, not e3. We're going to get into a typical blocked pawn chain on the center eventually. Black is eventually going to get some e5, we'll play d5. Once again, the knight on c6 is going to lose a tempo against our d5 move. Yes, they're going to go to b8 when that happens, like this. Then they'll be able to, with this knight, go back in here. Yes, it's not terrible for black, but it always looks like an improved version of a known opening for us. For example, if you play immediately, let us see that, e5, d5, knight on b8, and bishop on e2. Black's development is little poor. It's a tenable position, but we're always comfortable, and it's always easier for us to make plans. So for example, let us say that after here, instead of e5 immediately, they go for castles. Let us play bishop in d3, then same procedure. Same thing, castles, knight b7, h3. And this is similar to the line that I just showed you, like right in here, maybe our plan will be going for h3. So similar, like h3, castles and h3. So, it's almost the same, including bishop on d3 or knight b7. My point is that, well, not only we have an objective advantage with white, it's really easy to play. So now we just want to play either b4 to, then attack with c5 soon, and then bishop e3 or the other way around. Well, maybe if they let us, maybe we'll play b4 first so they don't play a5 or something like that. And it's much easier to play always with white. We have the clear plans. Again, it's not a terrible position for black, but we're really comfortable. And finally, let us go back to this initial after a3, d6. Knight on c3, well, let us see g6, which I think it is the main move. I think it's playing more often g6 than bishop on e7. Once again, in this line, it is easy to remember. If they go for d5, I've shown you the theory, but the point is, if they're going for d6, we're always playing now for e4, not for e3. This is normal chess. They don't control e4. We just go for e4. And well, let's look at normal natural development right in here. This last line, bishop, g7, e2, castles, castles. Here's a detail that I like in this last line, which was a little unexpected for me because, okay, let us say rook on e8. It's a tranquil move, but okay, rook on e8. Funny enough, d5 is a good move. It looks counterintuitive because now black will take it. I mean, just played rook on e8, so we're helping black to activate that rook. But remember that we're always winning a tempo over this knight here. So we just play c takes, and well, once again, I mean, I don't think knight on e5. I mean, we can always at least take it. I don't think that they want to take with the pawn, but we're in here. Maybe we can just develop with the tempo. It's possible, but it's always really comfortable for white. And let us say knight on e7, just bishop on f4. I think we're comfortable in here. I think there was a suggestion. I don't remember if this was computer or a real game. Some c6, surprising because we take, and yeah, it's true that we're here on d6, but black is also here on e4. So simply bishop on c4. This protects, indirectly protects the e4 pawn. So we're just kind of trying to hit d6. Because if they take it, we have bishop takes on f7, you know. And then like this, we win. And I mean, it's really understandable that black wouldn't want to be left with this backward, you know, isolated pawn on d6. His opponent rival on e4 is the pawn controlling the square right in front of it. You know, this will be, I mean, I think it's really logical for any player with the black pieces not to want this, you know. However, going back, well, in this position, that is why I said it's really interesting, this d5. It seems like we're playing for black, just play rook on e8 with a rook on the e file, but it's important to win the tempo or the knight. And one last retreat, let us say knight on b8. It's typical, just to go back through d7. Well, yeah, and black was hitting the e4 pawn, but let us just play it first. Queen on c2, developing, looking at the c file and the c7 pawn and protecting the e4 pawn. Once again, these rear c6 moves are possible. We can take it and maybe just bishop on g5 in here. It's interesting. It's playable for black, but once again, same problem. Hard to want this pawn against this pawn on the center. So more natural will be, yeah, the natural knight b on d7. We can go bishop on g5 once again. It's really funny. Here we let black chase our bishop, you know, like h6, go away. We haven't played h3, so knight g4. But now we place it on d4. And it seems like we've helped black anyway because we didn't include h3, so we allowed knight on g4. And now they plant a knight on e5 and they fight for that square. But once again, we play really natural. We just play knight takes. And after knight takes, of course, black is now always have this threat of knight takes followed by bishop takes. But that is why we played the simple rook 81 development move, protecting the bishop and aiming for the f4 move, which is not only our pawn break, but it will even allow us to exchange black's good bishop. Our bishop on d4 is a decent one. It's also our good bishop. But, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it's the protector of black's king, so we might even argue that this is a good bishop. But this is always the main defender of black's king. So, I mean, we can play f4, exchange them. It's really interesting. Then they go for e5. So, once again, playing really simple chess, but having the initial base of knight on f3 and then a3 always preventing bishop on b4. Well, it looks like this is the right way to try to leave this knight on c6 misplaced, just standing on a square, which, good or bad, is the price of blocking up the c pawn. Probably might be too high. So that's the thing. So I hope you like the video. This just remember, it's really simple. First we go knight on f3, and then to stop e5, then a3 to stop bishop on b4. And well, like, comment, share, and subscribe as usual. And I will see you next time. And thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.